The hall shimmered with chandeliers, laughter, and the quiet clinking of crystal glasses. It was the kind of place where reputations were displayed like jewels and judged, just as harshly. Ayan stood at the center of it all, his arm loosely around his wife, Zara. To everyone else, he looked like the perfect husband, charming, confident, admired. But Zara knew the truth that lived behind his smile. "Ladies and gentlemen," Ayan's voice rose above the room, smooth and practiced. "I want you all to meet my wife. Though I must warn you, she's not quite used to this level of sophistication." A few people chuckled. Zara felt the words hit her like a quiet slap. "She still prefers simple clothes," he continued, glancing down at her modest dress, "and honestly, sometimes I wonder if she even belongs in gatherings like this." More laughter, sharper this time. Zara's fingers tightened around her clutch. Her face remained calm, but her heart felt like it was folding in on itself. She had heard his mockery before, in private. But tonight he had brought it into the light, turning her into entertainment. Someone whispered nearby, "Why would a man like him marry someone like her?" Zara lowered her gaze. She had asked herself that question too, many times. Ayan leaned closer to her, his voice low enough that only she could hear. "Try to smile. At least pretend you fit in." She did smile. A small, fragile smile. Not for him, not for them, but to keep herself from breaking. Just as the laughter began to fade, the large doors at the end of the hall opened. The room fell silent. A man stepped inside, his presence commanding without effort. His posture was straight, his expression calm, yet powerful enough to quiet an entire room without a single word. Behind him followed a small group of attendants. Whispers spread like wildfire. "Who is that?"
"He looks important."
"I've seen him somewhere." Zara froze. Her breath caught in her throat. Ayan frowned slightly. "What now?" he muttered. The man walked forward slowly, his eyes scanning the room until they landed on Zara. And in that moment something changed. His stern expression softened just slightly. He walked straight toward her. Each step echoed in Zara's chest. Abu," she whispered, barely audible. Ayan stiffened. "What did you say?" The man stopped in front of them. He looked at Zara first, his gaze filled with a quiet, restrained emotion. "You look tired, my daughter," he said gently. The words hung in the air. "Daughter." The room collectively held its breath. Ayan blinked, confused. "Excuse me. I think you're mistaken." The man turned his gaze toward him and the warmth disappeared instantly. "I am never mistaken," he said calmly. Ayan swallowed. "I am here," the man continued, his voice now loud enough for everyone to hear, "because I was told my daughter was being honored tonight." A faint murmur rippled through the crowd. "Instead," he added, "I find her being humiliated." Zara's eyes filled with tears, but she kept them from falling. Ayan forced a laugh. "Look, sir, I don't know what this misunderstanding is, but—" "There is no misunderstanding," the man interrupted. He turned slightly, addressing the entire room now. "You all seem curious," he said. "So allow me to introduce myself properly." The silence deepened. "I am the father of Zara." A pause. "And she," he gestured toward her, "is not who you think she is." Zara closed her eyes briefly as if bracing herself. Ayan's confidence began to crack. "What is going on?" the man continued, his voice steady and undeniable. "She is the sole heir to a lineage you have only read about. She walked away from it, chose a simple life because she believed in love. She believed in respect." Gasps echoed around the room. Someone whispered, He's from that royal family." Ayan's face drained of color. Zara slowly opened her eyes, looking at her father. "I told you not to come," she said softly. "And I stayed away," he replied, "because you asked me to trust your happiness." His gaze flickered briefly toward Ayan. "But I will not stay away from your pain." Ayan stepped forward, panic now visible. "Zara, why didn't you tell me any of this?" She looked at him, really looked at him for the first time in a long time. "Would it have changed anything?" she asked quietly. He hesitated. That hesitation said everything. Tears finally slipped down her cheeks. "I didn't want you to love my name," she continued. "I wanted you to love me." The room felt heavy as if even the air was ashamed. Ayan shook his head. I do love you, this is all a misunderstanding. I was joking, you know that. Everyone jokes. Respect is not a joke, her father said firmly. Ayan fell silent. Zara took a slow breath, steadying herself. I stayed quiet, she said, her voice trembling but strong. Every time you mocked me, every time you made me feel small, I told myself it didn't matter. That love was enough. She paused. But love without respect is just loneliness. Ayan's eyes widened. Zara, please. He reached for her hand. She stepped back. That small movement shattered whatever illusion remained. Her father placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. You do not have to stay where you are not valued, he said softly. Zara looked at him, then back at Ayan. For a moment, her eyes held all the love she once had for him. And then it faded. I didn't need a royal life, she said. I just needed a kind one. Ayan's voice broke. Give me another chance. I'll change, I swear. Maybe you will, she replied. But I won't be the one waiting to see it. Silence. Heavy, final. Her father nodded slightly, as if acknowledging her strength. Come, he said gently. Zara hesitated for just a second, then turned. As she walked away, the same people who had laughed at her now watched in stunned silence. Ayan stood frozen, the weight of his own actions finally crashing down on him. He had everything, and he had thrown it away, for a few laughs. At the door, Zara paused. She didn't turn back. But she smiled softly, not because it didn't hurt, but because for the first time in a long time, she felt free.